Hi there, my name is Phixfox, and welcome back to Heroes of Might and Magic 2. We are diving right back into the second part of the Wizard's Isle final scenario, Wizard's Fount. Let's get right to it. As a quick reminder of where we were at, we just made sure that Ivan is this beefy, wonderful hero as our level 10 barbarian who has the Sphere of Negation. He is going to be a tremendous asset moving forward, as no enemy spells can harm him. And so one of the major problems that you have with these might-based heroes is now taken care of. We did waste or use one artifact slot just so that way he will always have a summoned boat. He will have this set Earth Guardian, and since he's already got 50 spell points, that actually might be pretty useful. Just as a tactical thing to think about, we have used view resources a few times in the past. As you can tell here, there's not many artifacts, or excuse me, not many resources on the map left, but worth noting that we may be able to pick up some, and I think that this is going to be the direction that I trend with my primary hero, Ivan. He is going to probably head to the east. We could take this little island here, but I think it's going to take us just a few too many days out of our way, and I would rather get on the road and just see what is out and about. We also do have, aside from this castle that we just built from a town, we also have this Necromancer Castle of Burlock, and this has been upgraded a little bit. Until I'm able to get some more sulfur, I'm probably not going to go into a mausoleum or a laboratory for now. I think that we just sit here and let these troops kind of start to accumulate a little bit. But we were able to send our other hero, Marco the Wizard, a hero that we were able to pull from a jail. He has gone out and about. He is starting to adventure forth a little bit here, and he's done some great exploring for us. Very interesting point here. I see these blue barriers, purple barriers, red barriers, and I see several tents on the map. We've already gotten this brown tent. We still need to get this green tent, and there is a blue tent here. I'm guessing that there is our objective here, which is the Castle of Magic. You must take the Castle of Magic where the Fount of Wizardry lies. I think that this is where we're going to go very shortly. Okay, I'm caught up. Are you caught up? We're caught up. Let's continue on and continue to explore here with Marco. With his navigation, he's actually going a long, long way every single time. And I think that these were, I double checked it, these are the Spiral Isles. And I love this map design. This is so cool. This is so interesting. And even though, like, logistically, it's a little bit difficult to make sure that you have to land and get out of the boat and get into the boat, it's done very, very well. Every little stop has not felt bad. I could absolutely stop to pick up this +1 and these treasure chests and defeat these pikemen. It wouldn't hurt my feelings. I think that I just have some other priorities, and that's okay. That's fine. The fact that at least it's worthwhile feels good. If you have to land on these non-worthwhile islands, that doesn't feel good, and that's just not something I like to do. We cleared out some space for artifacts here. This +1 to our sight radius is actually pretty nice. I think that we're going to take that now. I think that we're going to land, get the griffins, get the centaurs. We're probably not going to pick up this artifact. I don't think that we need to be immune to death spells. That'll be like Death Ripple, Death Wave. I don't think that that's going to come in handy. We've seen yellow. Let's see. They have this wizard town of Kalindra here, and I've seen some knight-based troops. I've seen no major necromancers except for this necromancer castle that we have taken here in the bottom corner. And so we will land, but we're not going to pick up this artifact. We will pick up the speculum, though. Are these losses acceptable? Well, yes, they are acceptable. Can we do better? I think so. I say that, and then immediately I think to myself, yes, but how? Probably I can just move the boars into this defensive position. Because these steel golems are upgraded 1, 2, 3, they can move around the boars to attack griffins that are inevitably going to get into these halflings. Yes, 7 halflings do go down, and I think that because I trust my rocks to be big, wonderful, fantastic creatures with their 19 attack and 19 defense. Oh my gosh. We're going to send them out and try and do damage before damage is dealt to us. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, when you have 12 attack and 12 defense, you can do some pretty amazing stuff. You truly can. And so even just some simple boars attacking are going to do just fine. Even these halflings at 50% reduced damage because they're doing melee, they're going to kill a whole stack of griffins. What is going on here? And that is just the power of attack and defense. Just in case you've never heard my spiel on that, the way it works in Heroes 2 is every point of attack over defense in combat is going to essentially be an extra 10% bonus damage. Every point of defense over attack is going to reduce damage by 5%. So I believe in Heroes 3 it's actually 5% and 2.5%. But they've adjusted things accordingly. It's not so rough cut. It's more of a gentle slope, and yet you get bigger numbers, if that makes any sense. In Heroes 2, a hero with 20 attack is insane. In Heroes 3, a hero with 40 attack is about similar. And so it basically evens out, I think, a little bit. White stone pillars support a roof that rises up to the sky. As you enter the structure, the dead air of the outside gives way to a whirling gust that almost pushes you back out. The air current materializes into a barely visible form. The creature asks in what can only be described as a loud whisper, "Why have you come? Are you here to call upon the forces of air?" I'm going to just check to see, let's see, available. There's 20 that I can summon here at this time. I don't think. I could do this. I've got plenty of morale. I could absolutely lose 1 morale just to get 20 air elementals into my army. Is that worth it? I think so. They are an amazing troop. They really are. I'm going to do it. I've got enough gold. Can I purchase all of them? I can almost purchase all of them. Are there other things I need to purchase in these towns? No, not until I can get the resources necessary to get this ivory tower. Oh, I better pick up the statue though, hadn't I? We'll get the statue because it's plus gold for now. And that's actually going to affect our decision here a little bit. We will attack the centaurs. We will pick up this treasure chest. We are going to get the gold here. The speculum. I can't get this artifact anyway. I don't have the crystal. I don't have the crystal. I have 2 crystal, not 3. So unfortunately, for landing, we are really only here for these air elementals. It's still worthwhile. It's still good. It's just not as good as we would have hoped. +1 to wood to defeat these dwarves. It's good, but it's not amazing. We are going to get this observation tower, though. And because we're going to land for the observation tower, sure, we will go through lots of dwarves. Interesting, though, for the undead armies, you don't really have a lot of ways you can deal with the slow lumbering troops. You don't have any ranged troops, and so you kind of just have to brawl with them a little bit. In Heroes of Might and Magic, I submit to you, and perhaps you will agree, I submit to you that there is a certain little bit of balance in the sense that it's like a triangle of weakness versus strength, counters, as it were. And that is kind of as such. Ranged troops is number 1, flying troops is number 2, and then slow-moving, sturdy troops is number 3. And so, of course, ranged troops defeat slow-moving, sturdy troops. The flying troops defeat the ranged troops because they can jump right on them. And then the slow-moving, sturdy troops can beat the fast-moving flying units. And it seems like those 3 kind of keep the game in a certain level of balance. To me, perhaps you disagree, but that's the way I look at it. We must pick up this horde of orc chiefs. We must have that. That is non-negotiable. We see another tent. That's very useful. I don't know how useful rogues from the wagon camp will be, but good to know that that is there. And so my point in discussing this when it refers to these dwarves is I don't have any flying troops that can deal with the slow-moving dwarves. What I do have is I do have troops that have no retaliation. So maybe if there's some terrain, we can split up this fight in a pretty reasonable way. Let's give it a shot. I am going to split my vampires here, by the way, as opposed to just splitting off one single skeleton that could take a hit for me. I think it is going to be useful for me, or rather more useful for me because of this no retaliation. I think that splitting the vampires is going to be the better decision. It's going to be a little bit costly, but we can definitely fight this fight. We do. And nice thing is this. So while these troops have good morale, it's going to be worthwhile noting that the battle dwarves, being 4-speed other than 2-speed, they're going to get down the battlefield very, very fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just hurt myself. Oops. Yeah. We're going to stone skin the troop that's about to take some damage. But because they're 4-speed and these are 2-speed creatures, that's actually good. That's actually good because then these dwarves are going to separate them from their companions and we're going to more or less isolate this fight. And if you've been around for any moment, you're going to know that that's something that I value highly, is trying to split up fights in a way that is going to prevent losses And the easiest way of doing that is to just not get surrounded by all these troops and not take damage from all these troops at once. If you can take just a little bit of damage from a few of these troops, that's always going to be better for you, in my humble opinion. I actually don't think that that's too, I don't know, too controversial of a take. I think that that's pretty standard and pretty sound advice. We're keeping the mummies back because they have 3 hit points, and because there's this terrain, because these dwarves did get the good morale, they have now separated themselves from their other dwarven companions. Oh boy, here they come. I'm going to back off this one vampire. I will lose a couple of skeletons, I think. I think that's fine. Oh, never mind. If I'm getting the good luck, then they are just down for the count. I will lose mutant zombies all day. I don't care what the fight is. I don't care who's doing what. Mutant zombies, they can go. They are just there to be in the way and take damage. 500 experience points, sure, why not? Luck, that's okay. Wilfrey is a full hero. He can't pick up estates or something like that, and yet it's nice to just know that I have a secondary hero that can do some nice things for me. Pausing to rest and light a cook fire, you pull wood out of a nearby pile of dead wood. As you keep pulling wood from the pile, you notice that it doesn't shrink. You realize to your delight that the wood is enchanted, so you take it along. That is +1 wood per day. I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing that this scenario, these artifacts are static, that they are not random and change from day to day, because this +1 wood, along with this +1 ore cart, plus this mercury vial, plus this pouch of gems, is that gems or crystal? I'm not sure. I think that those are static and that those don't change from playthrough to playthrough. Sometimes when you reload a scenario, the map editor allows you to put a random artifact of a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 variety, and then it changes a little bit from playthrough to playthrough. I'm guessing that these were placed specifically just to help you generate some additional resources as you adventure along the map. So, good to note. I'm happy to see all this additional resource generation. Are there additional things I should purchase here? I'm going to pick up this Thieves Guild. I think that we have plenty of wood. I don't think that that's going to be a problem. And then let's check for the first time this Thieves Guild. Yellow we have seen. Red I do not think I have seen, but red looks to be a pretty good hero. Maybe red is actually in the Castle of Magic, perhaps. Tough to say. And then it's worth noting that we as blue are the last in everything. Number of towns, perhaps we were first. Perhaps yellow only is first now because of this one town right here that we can see. And maybe they have more. But then also number of castles, yellow is the big dog. Red has more castles than us, and we have 2, so they have at least 3 or more. And then that means yellow has at least 4 or more. Number of heroes. Actually, red is not simply hiding in a castle somewhere. Red has a ton of heroes out on the map. I know that yellow has at least 2 heroes. I've seen at least 2 different yellow heroes. So red must have a few more other heroes. And then otherwise, yellow looks like they have the means to keep the military machine moving, humming right along if they so desire. We will be very, very well aware of that. Oh, hello, there's Finneous. Unless Finneous has Dimension Door, I don't think that we need to be too concerned with him. We only have 550 gold. But I am aware and I'm considering, should I get a shipyard here? Should I send Saracen out and about? Right now, perhaps not. Although it could be a thing. Looks like there's maybe some wood on this island here. I don't know if there's anything in the Fog of War up here, but I think I ought to be considerate of that, and I think I still need to kind of move east. We've got the movement. Let's do this now. Oh gosh, 19 ghosts. Halflings and ghosts. Ghosts are a 5-speed creature. The fight would go my boars, and then all of their ghosts. And so, really, I think that what would happen is that one stack of those ghosts would get onto the halflings, incorporate some of those dead halflings into their forces, and then they would have to attack steel golems and boars and rocks and things of that nature. I think I can take this fight. I don't know how worth it is. I'm definitely going to just sail backwards a little bit. I don't see anything there. And I'm going to take this fight. I didn't pick up the arena down here. Well, this arena is just an easier arena, and you can only pick up one arena, right? Is that how that works? I think you can only pick up one arena. So what's the point of landing here? Or rather, what's the point of landing here? Why would you ever want to attack ghosts if you can attack an easier arena elsewise? I think that I just talked myself out of that, and I think that that's absolutely the right decision. Why go through ghosts if you don't have to? Even though I think I could totally defeat them. What's the point? Okay, Flotsam. Plus 10, plus 500. I see these shipwrecks. I don't want any part of these. I thought I would have enough room to get back, and I do. Because I have my vampires in 2 stacks, I think I can defeat these orc chiefs, 3-speed creatures, and then my vampires will get to go first. I think that we defeat them, and we take the losses, knowing that there are going to be some losses, but taking the losses because it's a crystal mine, and we don't have a crystal mine yet. Marco is doing his job, and he's doing it very, very well by exploring, getting out on the map, and losses are absolutely acceptable. As you can see, I've needed to do a little bit of a jump cut here. My video cut out for some weird reason, and here I am on another day, and that's just fine. But we've recreated this day up to this point as best as I could, and now we are back to fighting this fight. This fight that I am not looking forward to fighting at all. And why am I not looking forward to this fight? Because the undead are going to take some heavy losses. Because their 1, 2, and 3 level creatures are all just that bad. So we're going to see how good of a job we can do here. I'm not hopeful, but we got to do something. Got to do something. So, as our troops slowly get down the battlefield, I can't help but wonder if I'm going to need to upgrade this Necromancer Castle that we've been talking about a little bit. I am officially concerned because I'm just checking the time here. Month 2, week 2, day 4. We have been here for quite some time, and I am not optimistic about hitting a certain time frame. We've checked in the past, and we're going to check again in just a second, kind of what the Thieves Guild has to say on the matter, but I know for a fact that we are officially starting to struggle a little bit with keeping up with whatever enemy growth that the enemy might have. How do we know that they are going to have more growth than us? Well, it's pretty easy to tell. We look at the castles that we have and the towns that we have, and we look at the towns and castles that they have, and it's going to paint a pretty bad picture once we get there in just 1 second. So I'm officially starting to worry very, very much about how we're going to keep up, how we are going to overwhelm the enemy, because if we can't overwhelm the enemy, then they're going to overwhelm us. That's kind of part of the strategy deficiencies that we have by utilizing the Sphere of Negation over using magic. We may be able to prevent some big enemy magic users from doing anything crazy to us, but we're also going to lose a tactical and competitive advantage by not having magic ourselves. 1 vampire lost on each stack, not too bad. We're going to get our crystal mine, and then that's going to allow us to take a quick look at what it's going to take to get 1 of each resource. We're still looking for sulfur, but this is going to fill our issues with our crystal mine. And this is what I mean right here. Number of castles, number of towns. So we know that we have no towns. Okay, so us and red, we're in the basement together, and then yellow has at least 1 town. We can see this 1 town right here. But then highly concerning is this. We have 2 castles. That means that red has at least 3 castles, and that means that red has at least 4 castles. Right now, this is at least 7 castles to 2. That is crazy. And what we've seen so far, well, I mean, we see 5th level creatures there. We see 6th level creatures with those Cylcopes, so we're in trouble there. And it's quite possible that we're going to keep an eye on these troops that we're going to see here and out and about. Because if we start to see 1 hero with all of these crazy creatures, if it looks like they are combining their forces into 1 very, very strong army, which is a hallmark of hard difficulty for FHeroes2, then we're going to be in a major problem. Thundax here has a few black dragons, so they already have at least 1 warlock castle, and they are getting black dragons. Several titans. So we've got titans, we've got black dragons, we've got Cylcopes. And these are all the yellow heroes. These are not red heroes. So these are all forces that can combine into 1. And right now, my tech is only up to my 4th level creatures. This far into this map, I may have already made a very terrible mistake and just not really know it just yet. So as far as what we got to do, by the end of this week, I feel like I've got to get my Cloud Castle. What's it going to take to get there? Well, I need to have the Ivory Tower, so I need to find some sulfur. Let's actually take a quick look here and just see. I said that I recreated this day. I had to go back to the autosave because my computer just shut down. And I know that I spent some time over here, and I kind of just took the liberty of... I don't want to call it cheating. I don't. But I knew that there was nothing up there, so I just sailed east instead of kind of sticking around here. So sue me. That's 1 day's worth of travel. But I do want to use Ivan on this view resources here to see if we can find some sulfur. So gold, there's sulfur here. 1 patch of sulfur here. Ore. This is probably our ore mine. We're still looking for an ore mine. With all this ore right there, I'm guessing that there has to be an ore mine right there. And then there is 1 patch of sulfur here. So I don't know. Maybe, was this a bad decision to land? Should I have just sailed directly for sulfur? That's a little bit tough to say. Marco is still going to be way too far away. That's at least 2-3 days to get there. And it's already day 5. It's going to take him 1 more day to get into the boat. He is in the boat now. I don't know how far Marco can get up, but we're going to have to be concerned about that. Oh gosh. And we have yellow Phoneixes. So we have the 6th level creatures for 4 different types of towns. Yellow is going to be scary. Maybe, as I'm looking at this, maybe I'm going to need to use air elementals. Are there any other places I can summon troops to kind of help bridge that gap? I don't see any other troops at this time, but that's a concern for me. Maybe I can use stuff. Not this goblin hut per se, but maybe something else. We'll see. And then what's on this island? I don't know. I'm going to just step a little bit closer to the shore here so I can see. I've got enough movement points. Should I summon my boat and walk into the boat? What else am I going to spend my spell points on? I don't know. Let me just make sure. So I can get in the boat right now. Do I stay or do I go? I'm going to get into the boat. Not knowing what's here, I'm going to just kind of pass on through this and maybe again hopefully get to some of these these resources. Sulfur and sulfur. So we kind of sail in this direction. The alternative is that I see this artifact here. I don't know offhand, is this crystal? Is this sulfur? Or is this gems? I do the worst job with keeping track of these resource generating artifacts. Mercury, pretty obvious. Ore cart, pretty obvious. The cord of wood, yeah, pretty obvious, but I always lose track of which pouch is which. So that's a little bit of a sad, concerning thing. But I digress. We're back in the water here. Sarrakin's not going to do much, and we have until tomorrow to get this ivory tower, so we're going to wait 1 turn. There's no way we're going to get enough sulfur. Are we even going to be able to get enough gold? Probably not. I don't know how we're going to get enough gold, even if we trade everything. We've got 40 gems. That's good. I think we're going to have to use Marco as an explorer to see what else he can find. So let's have Marco go first, and let's just have him go up. I will pick up... Oops. Wow. Great use of my movement points. What's this? Gonna go just a little bit out of my way. Okay, so there's another air summoning altar that could be useful for the strategy that we have already talked about. And that's it. Marco is still going to be way too far away. Oh yeah, not even close. It's a pretty big map, so even though we've got the navigation, we are not doing as well as I would have hoped. I mean, there's just so much ground to cover. We'll go through the flotsam, gargoyles, treasure chest. We see a little bit about what they have here. Artifact, it looks like the Lucky Gambler's coin. And then this barbarian town has been captured. So they are using that to their fullest advantage at this time. I don't know. 3,500 gold. If I land here, is that gold going to be enough to make a difference? Maybe if this treasure chest had been 2,000 gold, maybe that would have been a good idea to stay there. Plus maybe 500 gold from the Magic Garden. I think for sure we get the Magi. I think that we trade for the Magi right here, right now. We don't wait on that. Because we have to do this at some point. We're not going to get off any better. We still have 12 wood there. 1, 2. I haven't seen like a sorceress town, and so I don't think I need to worry about using up Mercury except for mage guilds. And then even though I don't want to, I'm going to trade away a lot of these gems. 40 gems, that's the gems required to get a Cloud Castle. I'm going to hope that I can at least get the Cloud Castle now. And to do that, I've got to get these resources. And maybe we can find a major windfall. Should I land or should I sail around looking for treasure chests? Let's have Marco sail up. Oh, look at that. That would have been so nice. And I totally would have fought Orc Chiefs for that. I absolutely would have. Windmill, good. Wait, is that also... I thought that was a treasure chest. That was actually just a little bit of a kind of autumn type of tree. I always forget which is which, deciduous or carnivorous. Carnivorous. Deciduous trees and then coniferous. And then, of course, carnivorous is a Venus flytrap. And I haven't seen a Venus flytrap on this map yet. Maybe in the swamp tile set? There's got to be, actually. Wouldn't that be neat? I think I need to land here. I don't think there's any way I can get my Cloud Castle by the end of this week. And that's for all the reasons we've talked about. Seeing all these 6th level creatures on these enemy heroes, that is just about the worst thing that could happen right now, is that I miss out on that. It is what it is. It's quite possible. It's quite possible that somehow I've gotten way too slow of a start. It's very possible I needed to be much more aggressive in getting the resources that could potentially help me trade. Maybe I spent too much time upgrading this castle. No, but then again, Marco's been excellent for me in scouting. I think I like these decisions. It's possible that month 2, week 3 is just the earliest that you can get your giants, but I doubt it. I find that there's usually people that are pretty good at squeezing everything they can out of these maps, and so I think I'm going to be sad, but I'm going to admit that it's happened, and there's not much I can do about it. Let's hope that this is crystal, so that way I have a crystal mine. I'm going to defeat these creatures. Looks like 9, 9, and 8 vampires. That's a healthy bit of vampires. And look at this terrain. Oh, goodness. This is bad. This is so bad. Because my boars are stuck. And then the air elementals are stuck. Okay. I'm going to put the rocks up here so that way only one more stack of vampires can attack my halflings. My halflings are taking a beating. I say beating, I mean with 12 defense, it's a beating. It's not good, but not good at all. These vampire lords don't have any more retaliation. I think I can kill all 8. I will kill all 8. Holy cow, those steel golems are nice. And this is an interesting thing. There's a part of me that is very sad, but there's a part of me that's grateful. When you attack, you can see where your creature is going to end up. There's no way that with these boars that I can attack these vampires from these 2 hexes. I will always attack from these 2 hexes, and that means that these air elementals cannot get by. That's very sad, but that's very good. It's good to be lucky. It's very good to be lucky. I am all for it. 46 dwarves, that shouldn't cause me any grief whatsoever. Navigation. We'll take the expert navigation. A short rainstorm brings forth a rainbow, and you can see the end of it. Riding quickly, you seize the pot of gold you find there. The leprechaun who owns it, unable to stop you from taking it, offers an endless pouch of gems for the return of his gold you accept. Okay, but you know what? I mean, having additional gems, is that really a problem if you are the wizards? No. This is a tremendous artifact. It just strengthens my strength rather than covers up some of my weaknesses. I'm not going to be able to get into the boat. I've already got the Hut of the Magi. It's what allowed me to see here and here. But we will pick up this observation tower, and then we're going to spend 1 extra day to get back into the water. There's more treasure here. I think that with this windmill, with these halflings, I am going to land here. I'm going to land just kind of right here with Marco. There may be other stuff, but I don't think that it's important for me to do much else for this week. The moment has passed. Getting this cloud castle is going to have to be sometime this week, and I got 6 days to do that. We will let it ride. Although, by not exploring, perhaps I'm missing out on a sulfur mine. That could be important. Here's a thought for you. As I dive back into my boat, as I see this artifact and this other halfling hole and this bottle, which I must pick up. If the enemy has dragons, which they do, we've seen black dragons, I'm assuming that they have some supply of them, then is it really a good idea for us to not have... I'm going to give up this windmill for this week. Is it a good idea for us to not have spells? The best part about dragons is that spells don't really impact them one way or the other. But if you're the little dog in the fight, maybe you do want spells. Then again, right now we've seen way more Phoneixes, we've seen way more Cylcopes, we've seen these other creatures that will benefit from spells. Dragons might be the least of our worries at this time. And that's my hope, is that they are the least of our worries at this time. We do have enough for the Cloud Castle. I see no reason not to get that now. Do we have... We do not. I should have potentially picked up that Sorceress hero, because they also have the navigation. That could have helped us explore some of these unexplored areas here. And I've said check your corners in previous maps. I've not done a great job of that here, but another hero should be able to kind of fill that role for me, I think. I do think. Jeez. So pack several. There's been some major movement here. That's highly concerning. But I'm assuming that there has to be a sulfur mine in here, because we have one of each other resource. Minus the ore. We haven't found the ore, but we think that there's ore. Then maybe if these enemies do not have access to me, I mean, with 2 castles, there's no way you're going to outgrow them. You have to get in there. We just got giants, and they've been growing stronger and stronger. With 13 and 12, that's not enough to overcome overwhelming odds. It's just not enough. I'm going to have some other hero pick up this artifact, because Ivan doesn't use spells anyway. If it's I don't think I can do this fight better. If it's like a really nice spell, like a adventure map spell, I'll feel a little bit silly, but otherwise we'll be fine. There's our ore mine. I don't think that we're going to fight that fight here. We're going to land. I see an observation tower. I pick up an observation tower, unless it's this observation tower. Because reasons? What the reasons are, it's difficult to say. I feel like with 2 castles, I'm going to have to find a way to get 15 sulfur. There's just no other way for it. And we're going to have to build up the castle of Burlock. And we're going to have maybe Marco lead the undead, and then have Ivan lead the wizarding troops. That has to be what it is. That's my best strategy at this point. It's just so hard to land troops and then attack. And like, I don't know. I mean, there's this little dimension door here, this little stone lith. It's going to be difficult to land and then logistically be able to back off. If you have to land to engage with your enemy, good luck in doing a skirmish. You kind of commit when you land. And worse, and this is something we need to think about, and worse, if you land and you leave a boat here for the enemy who is maybe otherwise landlocked, that can't be good. Does Saracen have... I guess we got a summoned boat. We just have to be careful with how many boats we have on the map. How about that? So long as we have Saracen, we'll always be able to spirit one of those away. Yeah, but I think we're going to have to find that sulfur. We're going to have to devote that to our cause over there in Burlock and just raise an army of necromancers. That just has to be the best thing. Unless we find the town of Winterkill, which is for sorceresses. By the way, Alchemist Lab, ore mine, sawmill. That feels pretty good. Here's our sulfur. Okay, this is actually not terrible. I think I need to get the Alchemist Lab now, and then +2 sulfur. Okay. Depending on how upgraded Winterkill is, though, I would much rather upgrade a Sorceress castle over a Warlock or a Necromancer castle. Much rather. The resources look better. I think that the Phoenixes can flex into your army much better than Bone Dragons, per se. Oh, that's a little interesting. Is that this? No, that looks different. That's the Archway versus the Corinthian Pillars type of stone lith. Much different there. And so I'm going to take this Sorceress Castle immediately. I must. And I will take it with Ivan. I know I've just got 2 heroes parked on the same little spit of land, but I'm going to do it. +2, so that was +2 sulfur here, +2 sulfur here. We're up to 4 sulfur. Not having to trade for that in the future is good. Still missing sulfur, and so I'm all for that. These windmills 1, 2, and 3 might be critically important in order to generate some resources. We've been very lucky with our resources and getting sulfur so far, but we will take that luck and hope that we can hold out for just a little bit longer. 6 sulfur there. We are up to 10 sulfur. I don't think that you need sulfur for a Sorceress castle, by the way. 37 and 1. We did pick up a lot of halflings to get ourselves up to 139. Let's see if we can save some of these halflings, because I think I should have had Marco give over, I think it was 79 halflings, something like that. Let's see if we can do something fun with that. But if sulfur is not really required for Sorceress castles, and if we are not going to go into spells, if we're not going to devote time to Mage Guild levels, maybe we're going to be okay. Maybe we'll be just fine. Generally, I would say let's not fly into these dwarves, because 35 dwarves hurts a lot. But I've got attack and defense, and I've got lots of it. So the damage is going to be negligible, but the rest of this is going to be terrific. I am sad to lose halflings here and lose the initiative with them. I'm sad that my boars are blinded at the moment. 1 rock goes down. And we're not going to be able to stop these druids, so more halflings are going to go down. I don't think that there was much we could have done about that. I don't think, anyway. That was a mistake, by the way. Ouch, ouch. I should have focused on these unicorns. I understand why I didn't at the time. I was thinking, well, you know, elves, they're still a priority target. These dwarves are going to be really the priority target at this point, but... Ooh, 99 halflings will apparently kill 25 of them, though. Which feels okay. Feels okay. Otherwise, I mean, this battle is won. We're going to kill them on the retaliation here. We might kill them on the retaliation here. We do. And that's the fight. 41, 1 and 2. We fought that fight worse, didn't we? Definitely taking the archery. If we're going to be having Ivan be a primarily wizard hero, then that is going to be stupendous. And this hurts. It's day 6. It's day 6. And we've got so much building to do. We're not going to be able to get the Stonehenge. We're not going to be able to get the cottage. We might as well get the archery range and then the well. It's probably what I'm thinking. It's probably what I'm thinking. And then we will just hope that we can get to the Red Tower by the end of this week. We've got the resources there. We're short on ore a little bit for now, but that shouldn't be too big of a problem in just a second. In fact, we might go to here, summon a boat, and then go that way. Hopefully we summon the correct boat. And then just to check, sulfur, no sulfur requirements, just gems, ore, and wood. So I think that with this 10 sulfur, it's an investment to get the mausoleum. I guess we need to get this right now, though. We're not going to get the laboratory this turn anyway. Let's just carry on with this path and try and get multiple castles going, because again, if now we have 3 castles, this is feeling better, but we're probably going to have Ivan with mixed troops, and then Marco is going to have to lead undead forces. So a little bit scary, not ideal. Marco's going to stay for these windmills, and then he's probably going to go get this windmill, because I do have more to explore here. I'm much some more to explore here. I do want to explore this. I think that this is probably something, but I'm guessing that there's not going to be anywhere to land just because it looks like the map designer's done a good job making sure that there is trees everywhere. Windmill here. Yeah, you might just have one hero who's it's their whole job to go pick up windmills scattered about on the islands, and it might really matter a lot. Sometimes it doesn't matter that much. I think it's going to matter a lot. We're not going to be able to pick up any of this additional ore. I don't think we actually need it, though, which is not too bad. 36 more halflings. I don't think I'm going to be able to fight that fight any better. Really don't. Oh, and we need to get these halflings over from Marco. That's a mistake. We're going to sit right here, pick up our well, because we're going to want it at some point. And then, did we get our mausoleum? We did not. We will at this time. And so at least we do have liches generating. We're not going to have enough gold to support all of these castles, but at least we have the troops available. Yeah, at least we have the troops available. Maybe there's, I hope that there's like one gold mine somewhere in a corner somewhere that I haven't seen. One gold mine would help a lot. Estates would help a lot. Is there any possibility of getting extra heroes with estates? There's a gazebo here, but there's no hero that really specializes in getting estates. It's not a very high likelihood for any one particular class of hero, so I can't say, well, let's hire a knight and then hope for the best. I think that the highest likelihood for getting estates is knights, and I think it's a 3 out of 5. Though it's listed as a 3 anyway, out of the likelihood of getting it. 0 is no chance of getting the skill, for example, necromancy with knights, sorceresses, etc. There's just 0 chance of getting necromancy. Oh, that hurts. And then there's skills, you know, that you can have a 1 chance of it, 1 out of 5. That's barbarians, for example, with wisdom. By the way, which it was pointed out to me, my last skill that I chose, I had the opportunity with Ivan in the previous video to choose luck or wisdom, and I chose luck, and I did it without even thinking about it, and I had to go back. I didn't even realize that that was a choice that was offered to me, but it was. I usually would never turn down wisdom, but because I was like, well, the sphere of negation, I've got the strategy going on, great, terrific. Was that a mistake? Very well could be if this sphere of negation plan doesn't pan out. If we need to rely on spells, you're going to miss that terribly. And it's a 1 in 5 chance for the barbarians to get it. Very unlikely to get wisdom. Very unlikely indeed. Picking up 2 mercury here. 2 crystal here. And we will end up getting these halflings on over very, very shortly. I don't know where to go with Ivan right now, though. We will see very shortly. With all that extra ore we picked up, I'm not worried about building some of these towns. I'm probably going to ignore these dwarfs until later. And we've got to find a sulfur mine. It's kind of non-negotiable at this point. I need to find sulfur. I don't want to keep trading at a ridiculous clip. Although, with 3 marketplaces, I'll be able to do much more. I'll be able to do things in a much better way. So there's some good possibilities. There's some good things that could be happening. Really, the problem is that I am quickly draining this map of its resources. I'm going to move the gems over here. And if the resources are all gone, I don't really have an opportunity to bolster my treasury. And I just don't... I'm building up 3 castles as if it's going to be the best thing for me, and I don't know if that's really a guarantee. In fact, I think that might be a bad strategy. Maybe I really do just need to focus on these sorceresses and these wizards. We will focus on the sorceresses, and if we end up magically getting enough of these other resources, we may get the laboratory. We're going to. You should definitely get the laboratory. I should definitely get the laboratory. This week, I should trade for 5 sulfur. That investment, it's an investment, but it's going to be worth it. I don't know why I'm sacrificing 21 halflings at a time to get 615 experience. Bad decision. Don't do it. Stop. It's time to stop. It's time to do something new. It's time to reevaluate your tactics and your priorities. There's nothing I can do. I don't think that the AI is going to fight this fight worse than I will. I really don't. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then my boars are going to go here. And then I'm just going to hit Q, because from here on out, I think that a lab rat could probably fight that fight from there. Let's pick up our windmill. Crystal. Okay. Yeah, it's extra resources, though. Back in the boat. And I wonder if I can get to here. It's going to take me 5 turns. No chance. No chance. We can explore over here, though. And there's these orc chiefs. Let's pick up this. Let's pick this up. Let's explore kind of to the south here. Maybe free up these air elementals. Could be useful. So let's plan on that being useful. 10 more gems. I don't love to use my gems, but in order to get Phoenixes, you got to go through that. Should I trade for the sulfur now? I'm generating 5 wood a day. You should definitely trade at least 2 here. And then, yeah, then trade the ore next. 1, 2. And then we will wait for tomorrow before we trade the last bit of resources we need. Anticlimactic, sure. Necessary, not necessarily. I need to figure out. Generally, I don't look things up mid-game, because I say to myself, look, that's part of the knowledge check. I mentioned in the previous video, the whirlpool, I said to myself, well, I've learned this before. There's some special trick you can do it. And the trick is put whatever creatures you don't want to lose in this very top stack. So you can stick 1 skeleton in this first slot, and those are the creatures that will go overboard if you have that 1 in 3 chance of the whirlpool sucking away some of your troops. But I didn't want to look it up at the time because it feels like you should either have the knowledge or not. Part of this game is, to a certain degree, a knowledge check. And that's okay. It's just kind of the reality of the situation. And so to look things up midway through kind of feels bad, but I'm really sorely tempted because of the shipwreck. And especially because I'm doing these scenarios in multiple bite sizes. I don't know how bad I feel about it, to be honest. I mean, if I had looked it up between the first scenario I played and now, is that much different than what I am anticipating doing here at this time anyway? Hard to say. I think that we will try and defeat this bottom stack here. I thought about something from that last time that we were using these vampires to fight, by the way. Wow, 3 left. If I attack this top stack and there's only 4 left, then they're going to get attacked by my vampires, and then the vampires are going to retaliate against them, and then I don't feel bad about moving these vampires down, say to like right here, and to chew up these stacks here. It's not great, but it's something. And then we'll slot in here. We'll slot in right there. Mummies are going to go right here. And then the vampires will go straight on with these bottom orcs. It looks like it's not going to matter with 21 hit points left. And I'm not going to waste a stone skin on anyone else. I think from here, we just hit Q and in the battle. So 3 vampires, 720 experience. I don't really care about the experience on Marco. Although at level 12, I think it's probably a reasonable opportunity. It's a reasonable thought process to say, should we make Marco the main hero from the beginning or Uncle Ivan? And I think it does depend on whether or not you want to go on the Sphere of Negation strategy or not. And I think that both are viable. I say that having not completed this scenario. Maybe I'm completely wrong. It's quite possible. We're going to have a little bit of a jam here. I can't build the statue because I'm a little bit worried about my ore. Let's get the lab now, because we've already devoted so many resources towards it. Oh, we'll give over just a little bit of mercury. Wait, what do I need? Oh, I need wood. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow then. Okay. Sure, fine, whatever. And then I'm not going to get the tavern because I need the wood over there. And then I'm going to need the ore over here. So let's just do nothing right now, and then we will slowly get things done one by one by one. It'll cost me a little bit of gold to not get the statue right here, but that's okay. Whoa, buddy! What are you doing? Oh no, buddy. Hold on. You must take control of the castle of magic where the fount of wizardry lies. Do this and your victory will be supreme. So I think that this is implying that I need to just simply take a castle named Magic. If the castle named Magic is behind here, that's bad. And I don't actually know, and I've asked this before, I don't know if by the enemy taking over this castle, if they win, do I have the same objective as they? I don't know. I don't know. Thankfully, I just realized we have this brown tent here. I'm going to assume that the brown tent is going to be one of the last barriers. And if that's the case, then I don't feel too bad. How far can you get? Can you really be that scary? Maybe. I don't know is the problem. What I do know is that 1,500, 2K, and then another 1,500 gold, that's 5,000 gold, is going to be very nice because we're about to get some very expensive buildings. Should I focus on the red tower first? Yes, that is really the priority. And then that's actually okay because the lab is going to take 10 ore. Oh my gosh. I traded too much ore. Okay, so we're going to have to trade for 7 ore. Nice job, Phixfox. Really, terrific. Terrific. And that's why I love this game. The margins for error are so small. Hold on. Do we have any more ore here on the map? Wood here. There's nothing in my immediate vicinity. There's all this. There's one patch of ore there. I don't think I'm going to be able to land there, so I'm just going to have to eat it. Just gonna have to eat it. Okay. Stone lifts there. That's still a little concerning. Let's continue to sail with our expert navigation. Okay, there's a sorceress castle. We've seen at least one of those. Another ever-flowing vial of mercury. That's interesting. And that makes me think that some of these resource-generating artifacts are not spawned in every single time. That they're random and not a guaranteed. They weren't placed there in the map editor. And so maybe we just rolled a terrific start. We rolled all of these different resource-generating artifacts, and we were able to get, you know, navigation at the very, very beginning, which has kind of been a big deal for us. Because I can't reach, and I think that this is my next step, I'm going to see if I can explore here just a little bit. I can always land, but to what end? If I mean, I don't use Dimension Door, but that could be very, very interesting. That could be interesting. As a strategy for those who do, I could see that being useful to kind of do some hit and run tactics in that way. And then you're not going to worry about being stuck here. There's these liths here. Am I going to find liths that lead to liths? It's possible. We do have our Phoneixes. That's good. We want to get our... You don't have the marketplace? You've been trading resources. You moused over it like you were going to get it, and then you just didn't get it. Buddy, what are you doing? This is not optimal. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. It's gonna hurt your feelings. It's suboptimal. Okay, we're gonna trade some crystal. We'll have 15 left. We gotta get 4 more. I'm getting 2 gems a day, and I still need to. And 20 gems are already spoken for. Buddy, I don't know. 2 mercury a day. Okay, we'll trade mercury. We've already got the Phoneixes. We don't need more. It's going to cost what, 1 or 2 Phoenix, or 1 or 2 mercury per Phoenix? 1 mercury per Phoenix. It'll be fine. We're going to be fine on mercury. What are we short now? And now we're short mercury. No. Oh, a comedy of errors. A a comedy of errors. And you can look at this in this regard. You can laugh or you can cry. I choose to laugh. Today we laugh. Maybe some other days you're going to see me having a really hard time with what just transpired. But today we are going to count our blessings. We're going to say, look, bone dragons, phoenixes, and giants. Soon to be titans, I hope. This has not been ideal. And yet, we have some opportunities. We're going to do the very, very best we can. And we will go in that way. Ah, darn. Nothing in that corner. And that makes me think, because there was nothing in this corner and there was nothing in this corner, that makes me think that I don't need to be super concerned about going up there. I don't feel comfortable fighting pikemen with Marco's current army. He is going to go back. He is going to do his due diligence in picking up windmills. And it's a really important job. Somebody's got to do it. This Flotsam, he could probably even get. Marco can. I'm going to sail around just a little bit. Yeah, just to see if there was anything else. Make sure I still had enough movement points. One boar. I'm not going to worry my pretty little head over that. And then, so by month 3, week 1, day 1, we do have 3 6th level creatures. Okay. They've had 6th level creatures for some time. This is interesting. Okay. Okay. That's not as interesting as I would have hoped. At first glance, I thought that maybe this was going to be an alternative way in. Is that a castle right there? This looks like a little town here. Yeah, Roscommon. But as it stands, I'm still happy to see all this treasure. I'm still happy to see these resources. I'm still happy to see the mercury. I'm going to lose those air elementals. I don't think that's going to hurt me, and I'm going to for sure take the combat stats. Scouting could be important. It could be. I've already read this in the previous video. I'm not going to read this again. I will. A brief stop at a hastily abandoned wizard's tower turns up a magical vial of mercury that always has a little left in the bottom. Recognizing a treasure when you see one, you cap it and slip it into your pocket. I think that with the scouting, it's reasonable to say that it's a good idea to take if I'm going to land and then have to make some very important and very quick decisions. But what I could also do is just land a nobody hero, hope that there's nobody around, and then get some exploring in. I see a road here. Maybe I go up this road. Maybe I go... I think I'd probably go towards the center of this island. Maybe you find an observation tower. You know, kind of cross your fingers a little bit there. And in fact, I think I'm going to do that. We've got... Don't do that. We've got a shipyard here. No, it's over here. And I would probably want to have... Well, neither of these heroes have 6th level creatures, or 6 speed creatures. And quite frankly, I don't want to waste any of these necromancy troops that, well, they don't even have a 6 speed creature now at this moment, do they? But to land and then just go. I do think that that's something I want to do. I do want another hero in the water, so let's actually hire Dawn the Wizard. Is that the best choice? Likelihood of poor terrain appears very low. And so we will get Dawn the Wizard here. We're going to get her into a boat. And then we're going to have her sail north. She can potentially go pick up a 6-speed creature. She'll go pick up a boar. And she's going to be my guinea pig. And we will make sure that Sarrakin the Wizard is prepared and ready, as we had already talked about, to steal the boat back with his summoned boat. And it may be that there ends up being tons of boats here as we try this strategy a couple of times. But I feel like I need a lot more information right now. And otherwise, I feel like I need to do a lot. I'm torn. And here's how I'm torn. This is interesting. Experience or gold? Gold. We need troops. We've got 3 castles that have troops in them. I don't think that additional levels are really going to help right now. We're going to need to balance this feeling of, hey, I need 1 more week's worth of growth versus this feeling of, look, if you don't go now, they're going to overwhelm you. And your 14 and 13 is only going to go so far. That's really my concern, is that the longer that I sit and wait, the less that advantage is going to matter, I think. Because they're getting equal quality troops as I am. They are. I admit it. They are. They're doing just as good. And so, moving quickly, but also picking up for my main hero, you know, +1 and something. Let's see what else. +1 here. You can only get 1 arena. +1 luck. Maybe that artifact. You know, there's stuff to get. That's just my thought in general. Trying to balance going quickly, but not hurrying. Making sure that we were prepared for any kind of confrontation. And really, to make sure that we are prepared, we're going to have Dawn land, I think. Since we're right here, let's plan on heading up to over here. We won't land for the halfling hold, but we will land with Ivan here. And this Marco picks up some of this other stuff. +2 sulfur. I guess it's not as important as it once was, is it? That was probably a mistake. Yeah, that was a mistake. Halflings are going to accrue over time. We don't need to spend the time to go pick them up. But we have other stuff to do. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Honest to goodness, looking at this, could we have done better? Knowing what I know now, the answer is absolutely yes. Knowing what I know now, what would my priorities have been? Get over to the sorceresses to the east. Well, get Marco first, I think. I think that going south is still the best thing for you. You see an old mystic perched on a rock. You walk towards him to see if he has any words for you on your quest, and he says, "First, I see you as a great conqueror of the lands of men. Secondly, I see you as a mighty ruler of vast armies, well loved by your troops. Aww. Thirdly, I see you as a slayer of legions of dragons, your body bathed in their fire. Lastly, I see you standing on the shores of a fount, unable to cross. Then the mystic fades away." That took a turn. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm all for being a great conqueror of many lands. Great. I love that my troops love me. Terrific. Slayer of legions of dragons? Immediately I think of the final scenario in The Price of Loyalty. And I am terrified. Because that was the stupidest, craziest final fight you could ever do. And I'm worried that this is going to indicate to me that, hey buddy, I hope you liked that before because you're going to do it again. That's my concern. So this better be, if this spell scroll is Dragon Slayer, I'm going to be very mad. No, it's Summon Boat. Okay, Summon Boat. We will take it. And that actually is not too bad because then that's another hero that can summon boats away for me. So that's okay. We got to get this bottle. I don't know why it's taken me so long to get this bottle, but we're going to get it now. I'm going to land right here with the hope that I can go 1, 2 in one day. Possible? Yes. Likely? Not really. I don't think I actually need to use Dawn to resupply, because I don't think I need to go right now. I think she literally just needs to pick up the fastest troops that she can, which for her is 1 boar, which Saracen will give to her with his compliments. And, oh, is there a nearby... Let's see, is there a nearby whirlpool? No. So she's just going to sail the long way. The nearest whirlpool is over here. I guess she can go just right there. It'll be okay. But if we're going to have to fight... Well, and this is interesting, I suppose, because there's tons of yellow on the map, right? If you value your lives, for God's sakes, don't go through this whirlpool. Fair enough. You see tons of yellow. We haven't seen any red. Is red through these barriers? Hold on. Lots of black dragons. Lots of black dragons. It was only a few weeks ago that you had a few. Now you have lots. Lots can be up to 50. You can have a stack of 30 to 50 dragons. I mean, you know, it could be right on the cusp. It could be in the 20s, sure, but maybe the FHeroes2 is much better at using their marketplaces. Well, we know that that is true. The FHeroes2 AI is much better at using its marketplaces. Maybe, just maybe, we are suffering because of that, because they might have used all their resources, pooled them into getting a dragon tower in the first week, second week, and they've just been accruing dragons this whole time. And I don't know what you do with that. This is bad. This is bad, folks. And again, I don't know how much faster I could have done this. I mentioned I would have gone south. I would have then immediately gone east to Winterkill. And then what? I mean, of course, you focus on getting your Titans as soon as possible, but I mean, with 7 Titans here, that's not enough. There's no way that's enough. Lots? Hold on. Finneous. 5, 7, and 1. That's still too good. That's still way too good. If he had 1 and 1, I would say to myself, maybe we got some opportunities here. But 5 and 7, even with my 14 and 3, that's too much. It's too much. And we're only going to pick up a couple of extra points of defense, 2 extra points of defense, and 1 point of offense or defense, 1 point of attack or defense. This is bad. This is what we in the business call not good. Oh, but I was able to get both windmills, and so all is right in the world. We can admit that there's some bad stuff going on, but at least we've got our windmills, and that feels pretty okay. I don't know. I'm maybe losing my head just a tiny bit, but I'm going to go here into the corner, just kind of hoping. I don't think that one day at this point is going to matter, although this will be our next stop. I'm just flabbergasted. Okay, you know what? You see this? You see this little deal? Here's what I'm hoping. We're gonna land Dawn, and we're gonna get rid of the halflings after she gets close, so that she's got full speed. I'm gonna see if I can get her right here, and if she can go to this immediately, because maybe I avoid fighting the big bad guy, and I just stick a hero right on those lifts, and I deal with everybody and anybody on the other side of the lifts. Maybe I play around in that way. That sounds like a terrific strategy. How about we abuse the fact that you can't fight a hero that's standing on the lifts to do something crazy? Now, it could be that there are multiple places where the lifts will let you in and out, but hard to say. Otherwise, I think that we're going to be able to just continue to accrue troops and get Ivan all of the special knickknacks that he needs. It's day 1. We've got this one. Let's just hop back in the boat and go get our other windmills. It's probably not a bad idea to devote some resources to the windmill here, but one hero can't clear everything, so at this point, I don't know. Probably going to be useful. Then again, resources aren't really the problem. I think gold is going to be the new problem. Immediately, right here, right now, like yesterday, gold is going to have been the problem. It's hard to look at that and say, well, you've got 37... How much gold is that? 3,700 gold, so 37,000 gold. You have 37,000 gold. How bad could it be? When you're trying to recruit troops from 3 separate castles, bad. Especially when one of those troops is 5,000. I should probably care more about these halflings than I do. Ooh, that's nice. Through a clearing, you observe an ancient artifact. Unfortunately, it's guarded by a nearby bone dragon. Do you want to fight the bone dragon for the artifact? I do. 10 more halflings go down. 4 plus 1 luck. That's actually going to be pretty useful. You know what? Maybe I've made a mistake. I said, hey, I need the gold. Maybe I've been making a mistake. Likelihood that I get another 1,000 gold here on the islands is possible. We still have to for sure defeat some pikemen, some wolves. I can defeat some gargoyles. Oh, I can even beat ghosts if I need to. So I will find a way. Golems. Oh, that's going to give me the experience I need. They're a hardy troop. They've got plenty of experience baked into their hit points. And these mummies. Yeah, we'll be fine. But +2 on the gems. I might as well get the Witch Doctor's hut because there's nowhere else for Marco to be. Are there any other things I should be doing here? At some point, we're going to want to get the Ivory Tower upgraded. We will definitely want to consider if we bring Vampire Lords or not. If we are going to possibly bring Bone Dragons and just suck it up and have an army comprised of Titans, Phoenixes, Bone Dragons, then maybe Vampire Lords actually get into that army. We're going to have to take a look, and this is actually going to be the most useful tool here because you have this tab here. You go to your kingdom icon, and heroes, this is the page that always gets brought up. We can always go down to towns, and it can help you plan out. It'll show you what troops are available. Right now we have 10 Titans available, 7 Bone Dragons, 7 Phoenixes. As things currently stand, I think that I'd rather have Magi or Arc Magi. And then I think 30 vampires. They've been accruing. They're probably going to be the next best creature. And if I'm already going to take the morale penalty for having Bone Dragons, you might as well have the Vampire Lords as well. Vampire Lords are sneaky. They can't be disabled with spells. Not traditional disabling spells, anyway. And because they heal, you must devote some attention to them. Otherwise, if it's a late battle scenario type deal, they can be a force to be reckoned with if you haven't done your due diligence to take care of them. I think that that's actually going to be a reasonable strategy for me to consider. I've apparently not gotten this statue. I should have done this a while ago just to make sure. What else is here? Nothing here, nothing here. Do I get this now? I think I do. I think I get the upgraded mansion now. I'm thinking I'm going to be running in that direction. And the upgrade between vampires and vampire lords is stupendous. So even if they just go to a secondary hero on a secondary army, it's still going to be a worthwhile upgrade at some point, in some capacity. So I don't need to feel too bad about that. Otherwise, let's see if some halflings go overboard. A whirlpool engulfs your ship. Some of your army has fallen overboard. We go from 9 halflings down to... It took the boars? That's not how that works. No, that is not how that works. No, that's not how that works at all. Am I crazy? I'm looking it up. I don't even care. I'm going to look it up because when I see something like that that just goes way out of what I expect, I have to double check. Otherwise, I'm going to have a real bad time. So bear with me. Aha! In Heroes 1 and Heroes 2, the Whirlpool has a 1 in 3 chance to kill 50% of the creatures in the hero's lowest tier stack. Lowest tier stack. What's it really going to cost me? It's going to cost me some time. But I'm mad. That right? Am I misreading that? And somehow this is from the Heroes of Might and Magic wiki. Heroes in 1 and Heroes 2, the Whirlpool has a 1 in 3 chance to kill 50% of the creatures in the hero's lowest tier stack. And so what I was saying before is this: if you have one creature in your lowest tier stack and they're tied for that, then it's going to eat that. We saw that when we had some skeletons go overboard in the previous video. And now you do this to me? On the day of my daughter's wedding, you come to me and you take my boars from me. And I refute the BS that you've done. How could you? Well, here's the thing. From here, I think that we should just sail on over and land. We're probably going to sail on over and land. Marco will help facilitate a trade. And we will just get one, I don't know, what's a 6-speed creature over here? One elf. Well, 1 grand elf. We will spend the gold just to do that. Am I right? Am I wrong? Is that a bug? Am I misunderstanding? Because it's quite possible that I'm misunderstanding and I'm just making myself out to look like a complete and total jerk. And if that's what's happening, please let me know. I would rather not be a jerk, and I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong. But the way I'm reading that, I'm pretty sure that is not working as intended. Nope, I don't think it is. So really what that does is that prevents us from getting more information now. And actually that's bad, because then the more information we have now, the better we are able to see these heroes as they wander past. That actually I think is kind of a big deal. I really do. Because I'm trying to assess threats, I'm trying to assess army strength, I'm trying to assess all these things. Oh, here we go. This is good information. And by not being able to land right now and having to wait, it does kind of hurt me a little bit. I am going to avoid the ghosts, and I am going to pick up some of these troops on my way by. I don't see any reason why I ought not to, since I am right here. I'm not going to land for that windmill. Don't care. Wait another day, and off we go. Purple tent. I think that the purple tent was already... I think that was one of the barriers that we saw be walked right on through. And I'll tell you this. In I think it was the second scenario here on Wizard's Isle. I think it was the second scenario. Yeah, it was the second scenario. I really tunnel visioned right into a mistake. And I didn't fight fights where I ought to, and I completely and totally lost my head. And it was bad all around. I did not have a great time. Oh my goodness, we're out of gold. I'm not going to do that here. It would be fairly easy, I believe, for me to try and, I don't know, think that, well, if there's only so many barriers, maybe I can go to one of these tents that is not been taken by the enemy, and I can just zip on through and win the objective, win the scenario without having to defeat everybody. It sounds good. I got a feeling that that's not going to work. I'm guessing that Red is going to have such terrible armies because of that little forewarning here by the Mystic who said that I was going to defeat legions of dragons. I'm guessing I'm going to need to take all these towns and leverage all these different castles on this spiral island against some unseen enemy. That simply has to be. And so I don't think I'm going to be able to just slip on by and hope for the best. I think you must plan on defeating everybody. What's this? Nothing. Nothing at all. And so for that reason, I'm going to plan on being very, very thorough in this map. I don't think that you can hope for an easy victory otherwise. One possible other easy victory exploit that I've seen, and I feel bad calling it an exploit. I don't think it's an exploit, per se, is in the final level of the Price of Loyalty, you can do something nifty where the enemy hero will path all the way out into the absolute boondocks of the map. And if you take all their castles, they're going to be too far away to get back to a castle to conquer it within 7 days. And then what happens? Well, then they just lose the scenario and you don't have to actually defeat some big bad evil guy. That's ideal. That's what we would love to have happen here. I don't think you could plan on that, and I don't think that we should consider that a possibility. 5,000 experience to go. I think that now I'm going to start taking the gold, especially since we've seen that 10 Titans cleaned us out pretty convincingly. And I don't think that, yeah, I just don't think that we can plan on getting through legions of dragons unless we really have a tremendous army backing us up, and it's going to take a little bit of everybody, I'm guessing. And maybe at that point, well, if it's dragons, maybe at that point you do get rid of the Sphere of Negation so you can cast some nice spells. We're going to be limited to level 2 spells, but it's still possible. We need to be flexible. We need to be open to that possibility that that is going to be what's best for us. I don't know, but we at least need to try and consider all the different angles here. Okay. We're going to take the halflings for now. We're going to dismiss them at sea. Oh, that's a terrible thought. If you dismiss troops at sea, like in the middle of the ocean, These poor 9 halflings are right here next to the whirlpool. They're like, hey boss, what do we got to do for work today? You say, nothing, now get out of here. And they say, what? You say, that's right, I told you get out of here. And they say, where are we going to go? You say, I don't know, not my problem. They just, what happens? That's a sad thought. Dark. Macabre even, but funny. We go for funny around here. You know, we go for the novel. I think that you've probably heard me say a few times that tickles something in my brain. That's a phrase I occasionally use. It tickled something in my brain. I'm all for it. I'm going to pick up this artifact just because I'm here. I might not come back. A fierce windstorm reveals the entrance to a buried tomb. Your investigation reveals that the tomb has already been looted, but the thieves overlooked an ankh on a silver chain in the dark. So animate dead spells and resurrect spells, those will have a greater effect for us. We're going to pick up all these things again. +1, +1. And even though we don't plan on using these artifacts, we can always give them over to another hero later. That won't be a major concern. I don't know why I landed. We need to wait here for one more day. 2 more days, actually. I suppose I should probably consider getting these shipwrecks. You know what? If I looked up the whirlpools, I might as well look up the difference between the shipwrecks and the derelict shipyards. And then I think I will never again have to wonder and worry. I think from at that point, I will be very embarrassed. Oops. And I will never end up having to look that back up. I think. Let's make sure that Dawn does not sail too close to the coast and get attacked. That would be less than ideal. And I'm hoping, as you can see, a lot of these heroes have kind of gone to these outer castles. Finneous is way up here. This is something we need to keep track of. When we do eventually land, we want Finneous to be up here. So he has to go all the way around here. That's going to be a very interesting and very important timing attack, I think. I think if I keep the rocks back, we're not going to lose this fight. And another time and another place where I think that we just need to think about how we can press our advantages, make sure that we don't hurt ourselves. It's right there. We just need the information to make the best decisions possible. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think that any of these maps are impossible to win. And I truly mean that. When I first started playing Heroes of Might and Magic 2 with the FHeroes edition, there were some places, advanced logistics, there were some places where I wondered, is this not possible? Specifically Price of Loyalty Scenario 2. Because that scenario, essentially I had to do a trade. I had to trade 3 or 4 Barbarian and Knight castles to get 1 Warlock castle, and then a second, and then a third. I could not fight their armies head on. I could not directly contend with them. And so then the next best thing I could do was trade all of what I had for their upgraded, better castles, and then generate some dragons of my own, and then continue on from there. That scenario at points felt like it was going to be impossible. And ultimately we were able to overcome. One scenario I'm not looking forward to doing again is going to be, I think, scenario 6 or 7 in the Price of Loyalty campaign. It's the one where you start off with 1 Necromancer castle in the southwest corner, because the FHeroes2 AI has simply gotten better. And looking back at that playthrough and seeing what other people have done, people have I got tremendous luck there, and other people have not been so lucky. And I recognize when I get luck that we need to be aware, hey, you know, sure, take your flowers for your win, but also be very well aware of the times where you got pretty lucky with some dice rolls. And that's fine too. I am not quite sure when I'm going to go back to those scenarios. I play heroes not on these videos as well. I don't just play in front of the camera, although I've tried to be a little bit careful. I don't want to burn myself out on Heroes of Might and Magic in my spare time and then not want to do that for these videos here. And so for that reason, I've been a little bit careful. I've tried to do other things and play other games, and recently I've just been too impossibly busy to actually continue with these videos. But after this scenario, we're going to be going into Heroes Might and Magic 3. And I'll tell you what, I'm officially a little bit scared. Oh, interesting. You see an old man bringing water towards the stables. Recognizing him as the mystic, you attempt to thank him for his gift with some gold. He refuses, but says to you instead, there are riddles guarding the source of the fount's power, and the dragons know the answers. Make your way through their lair, and you shall know victory. What have I missed? I very easily could have missed that. Where else could we run into the mystic that we just haven't yet? Here, maybe? Does Marco need to land over here and give that a try? I do not know. I cannot say. That's a little bit concerning. Because I need to know. I need to know. What gift are they talking about there? The mystic gave us a gift? What gift? Did we land in the wrong spot here on this Hut of the Magi? It's very difficult to leave those little event bubbles, knowing that a player can miss them. Quite honestly, even thorough Easter egg adventure hunters like myself, sometimes if the path is not laid bare, I'm not going to continue to search all the time. It's only because I have found a pie in a magic pie bush in the past that I even look here in the corners of these oceans every single time. And that's only because I've been trained to do that. Other people, other places, other times, probably not so much. Magic pie bush, it's a reference to an individual. They have a dog, and the dog found a half-eaten pie in a bush on one of their walks, and now they always have to check that bush every single walk, just because the dog found a pie there one time. That's what that's a reference to. It's not my story, it's somebody else's story, but still, it's a good story. Do I land here with Dawn? I think we saw somebody go here. Here's the thing, we have to land and then we have to go. You have to land and then you have to go. And so if you land and you get immediately attacked, mission over, you've unsuccessfully done nothing. You just threw away 2,500 gold. Plus 1 elf. Do I land now? I did pick up the stables. I do have my 6-speed creature. We did see somebody walk away just a second ago. I kind of want to say that we land. Okay, we're going to wait one more time. We're just going to observe. We're going to observe. I just want to make sure I land on day 6 so that I still have the stables from day 7, unless things look really, really dicey. That's our plan. But we got to get some more information. There's a hero, there's a hero. So we could have landed, and we would have, I think, been safe, but now it's not safe to land at all. Don't land. Do not land. And now I'm walking over weird spots just because I'm worried that the mystic is going to jump out at me from a magic pie bush. Okay. Any other things to get out here? We did see this swarm of peasants, but there's no place to land. I don't think it's possible to get to them. There are these shipwrecks. And other than that, I don't really see anything else that's critically important. I think that 14 and 16 is going to be our final stay. And by the way, I chose defense over attack, because if we're going to be fighting enemy dragons and stuff, I think that with our plus 14, we're going to be doing bonus damage anyway. I just need to make sure that I'm taking reduced damage, I think. Which is better, offense or defense? Generally, people will tell you defense. Why? Because you're eventually going to get hit, and when you get hit, you're going to want to keep your troops around so they can continue to pump out damage. It saves you money and gold. In this case, it's going to save us troops that are going to be important for other ventures. It is what it is. Okay. I'm not going to worry about much else until we land with Dawn. Yeah. I think that that's what it's going to be. So at this point, I think this is actually going to be the place where we do the cliffhanger. This video is, again, kind of in 2 parts because I think we got 15, 20 minutes into the video, and then my computer just shut down, so we're going to have to Frankenstein stitch some of this together, but I think I committed to this being a 3-part video once already anyway. I think that this is going to be the final staging before we actually make landfall onto these spiral isles. We're going to wait. Unfortunately, I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger, but I can guarantee you that while it's been 6-7 days since the previous part 1 in this final scenario, the final scenario, or part 3, hopefully there's not a part 4, but part 3 will take place. It will actually be uploaded no later than 24 hours later. Guaranteed. So folks, this is where we end it for today. So we are month 3, week 4, day 5. It may already be too late. We may not be able to overcome all these enemies, but we have our strategic possibilities, including running away and just kind of doing some hit and run tactics. We have this lith that we can potentially play around a little bit just to avoid the major enemies' best heroes. And then we will have other opportunities, I hope and I think, to move forward in a purposeful and meaningful way with an army that's going to probably consist of Titans, probably Archmagi, probably Bone Dragons, probably Vampire Lords, and probably Phoenixes. Until that time, folks, look after you, look after your friends, look after your family. My name is Phixfox. Thanks for all the love and all the support, and I will catch you on the flip flop. Take care. Till then.